extremely fascinated as a human about another intelligent life.
Como que no, güey?
Saludos, cabrones.
Buenos días, señores y señores.
Por el dolor.
So we are here at the infamous 93 Studios with Senor Roman. Oh, with a round of applause. Aaron Cortez.
Simon.
Senor Shapeless. Cosmo Teokal. And a living legend, Senor Dtel. And of course, Senor Voyager.
Hola.
We are here at a very special.
Wait, hold up. How you gonna forget Maria?
Wait. And yourself.
And yourself, too.
That's true.
Also, I'm rather famous.
Raw version.
I'm rather famous instead of infamous.
Also Maria, but she told me not to say nothing, so
Oh, sorry, my bad.
no, we're good.
No, we can't do that. Sorry.
That's true. We got to put some respect on the name.
Boss. She's a boss. Man.
Interject whenever you need to, please.
I gotta say something about Maria. She's the boss. She always asks, "Hey, what do you guys need to? Is it okay if I do that?" I'm like, Maria, you're the boss.
This is your place.
You run this place. You and Roman run this place. Hell yeah, you do.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
The only ideas Maria
The
has
only reason
are
why
good
we
ideas.
have this place is because of you. Hey, the spotlight's at you, man. I'm sorry. I love you, Maria, man. Cheers.
They kind of guided the direction I was trying to go in. I wanted to talk to Roman real quick. And Roman, from my perspective, you are a living legend, and also you've been a pioneer in your field, and to do what you do and continue to do it, and then also have a space here where you have 4 or 5 completely individuals creating their own art in their own way. It's kind of like you're paving another direction. So I wanted to talk to you specifically first. Who are you? Give me a brief rundown of who you are, your description of your art, and of course Maria as well.
All right.
We have to, because of you, we are here.
All right. Well, anyway, thank you. Whoever's listening to this, welcome to 93 Studios. My name is Roman Villarreal. And like Tony was saying, I've been part of the art movement since the 70s. And a quick update, basically what's cool about what's happening now is we're sharing. And what's interesting to me as an elder artist in the community, to see younger artists grabbing the whole concept of, because it's not an easy profession to really, unless you got the desire and the heart. Like, for example, Brother Dtel. The energy that he puts into his doing, as I see him, I say, wow, that's some energy. He's he puts things together, organizes, and the main thing is experimenting with art. That's the key to everything. Like what Aaron does, Matt does, Joel. The importance is the creativity, and sharing. Like one minute you'll be saying this and you look at each other across and say, wow, that's a cool idea, and it's a takeoff. And the beauty of it is that we're sharing this in this community, because ordinarily everybody's a loner in this business. And when you could have an opportunity to share, you accomplish things, like what just recently happened, Meaning of Styles, which I think is fantastic.
Yes. Hey, can we get a round of applause for me?
Oh yeah, definitely.
That was beautiful.
We'll touch base back on that.
But it's one of many projects that are I mean, like, we haven't even got started, to tell you the truth. And as an artist of description, I consider myself a urban anthropologist.
Ooh. Say that again?
Urban anthropologist.
What is that?
And basically, the Field Museum, a lot of people have taken interest in how an artist does things. So in other words, later on in life, they go back to the art world to see what was happening during those periods, because basically, they'll know what happened, what was going on. You're leaving like a legacy. And that's basically what I'm doing at this particular time.
Wow.
All right, so let me pass it on to...
Yes. So, all right, thank you, Roman, for that.
No problem. No problem.
Maria, of course, we want to thank
Maria,
you
of
for
course. Thank you.
My name is Aaron Cortez. Artist name Cortez. Keep it simple, you know, just my last name. I'm an artist here at 93 Studios. Been here with the guys for 3 years. I befriended Roman about over a decade ago, and ever since that, you know, I've been around Matt. I did music in my earlier 20s, and from that, Matt and I built a friendship, and through that, he brought me back to the arts, and then eventually I befriended Roman Villarreal, and then the rest is history, you know. The rest is, like, it eventually brought me over here, so. So yeah, in that sense of, I'm just the, you know, the Padawan, you know, in the Star Wars sense. I'm the Padawan and amongst, you know, my elders right here. So I'm learning from everybody. I mean, a lot of my art is very influenced from all the guys here. And yeah, I mean, I'm just inspired constantly by these dudes, and yeah, I'm just another cat over here.
But you don't only do art, because I've seen you musically.
Yeah, I do a lot of
Skateboarding, rapping.
yeah.
I was like, whoa.
Yeah, just,
a man of many talents.
Yo, if you know him,
I'm
you've seen
talented
his
on all those
videos on
avenues.
YouTube. You heard his music before it gets released. You know all that.
Yeah, you know what? Like a lot of my personal self and those avenues, I tend to get embarrassed. You know, I'm not embarrassed. It's more so I become modest. That's the better word. You know, I don't like to throw myself in or hold myself on a pedestal or put myself in the spotlight, even though I like it. You know.
Yeah.
It's a weird way of handling it, but yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I've never had that true confidence unless there's a mic in front of me. I feel that. Or if I'm on a stage, it's a switch. It's a switch that I learned from the start of making music, and from that I started when I was, you know, a 17-year-old in high school. You know, fucking going to local band shows and going to people's houses. They're throwing, you know, house parties and there's bands playing and things of that sort. So just that really started the whole creative aspect of myself. But yeah, for art-wise, I mean, I started even when I was young. A lot of my cousins would draw Dragon Ball Z stuff, right? I was heavy into cartoons, as a lot of kids were in the 90s, you know. It was very heavy cartoon, comic book based, especially all y'all from the 80s too, you know? So like, I was definitely heavily influenced at an early age, and my mom used to draw too.
Oh wow!
And so like I got inspired from that, and she was a very crafty, stay-at-home mom, so she always did like projects with me and my sister and shit.
Oh shit!
So like it all derived from family, and I have musicians in my family too. My cousin Veronica Solis was on like not America's Got Talent, but like almost an American Idol, but for the Latino side of it.
Oh wow!
Yeah, she was on one of those things. So it's in the blood, you know, the creative aspect, you know.
Yeah, I got you. So how did you describe yourself, yourself, as an artist?
Let me pinpoint something. You said that you were influenced by your mother.
Oh yeah, heavily, for sure.
So that's something that, as a father, that I'm realizing now, like changing my whole thought process of how to teach my kids stuff or how to be with my kids. Mm-hmm. My parents never gave me like that. And one artistic part from it.
And one thing to kind of coincide with that thought is, I'm not a father, obviously. I mean, I don't have kids, but teaching at Skyar where I work, it teaches you that compassion, right? That what it is you're talking about. How to really coddle somebody, even if they're an adult too. Like truly listening to a person and learning how to like, okay, this person navigates this way. So I know how to maybe sneak in and get close to them so I can use it to boost them, not as for my advantage. Yeah. I'm just not that type of guy. I don't need anything from anybody, you know? Right. I've been given a good life, and I just try to project that energy too, you know, of, you know, just feeling good and spreading that, really. But yeah, in that sense of, I think there's a lot of lack of compassion the world has, you know, and going to Sky Art and you trying to teach your kids and how my mom actually showed me compassion, and that's why I feel like I excel at Sky and with kids and stuff like that. And two, I never wanted to grow up. Look at over here making art, making music, fucking doing whatever I wanted to do. I could be a kid still at my work environment, so it's just it's all full circle at this point. You know, hindsight's 20/20, and it just makes sense now. You know.
And that's something also that I always pointed out is like if you want to be really happy within yourself, is to be as close as you can to being a kid.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like one example I gave before was I was driving on the highway by Mokina, and they have like a warehouse where you could race with little carts, like fucking almost like Mario Party and shit. Mario Kart, where you drive those fast little things, right?
Dope.
And I was with 47 Tribe. We were going to go to disc golf course.
Oh wow, yeah.
And I'm like, I thought about like, man, that's fun, bro. It's like it seems fun in my head, right? But I'm driving in a car. Yeah. Like I got a car that goes fast, but I'm like, that's the kid side of me. So if you follow that instinct of being a kid within yourself, I think in life you're gonna be happy.
No, definitely, because at least reflecting when I witness the kids that I'm with, you know, or even just being young, it's really that curiosity that you have when you're young, that instant almost truth, like you kids will tell you how it is right away.
Yeah.
As in comparison to some adults, they'll just say, yeah, there you become yes men, or you know, they won't even say how they truly feel. And yeah, you can learn a lot from kids, and it makes you think back deep into yourself, like, oh, I'm still that fucking kid. I'm over here pretending to be an adult because society told me I gotta grow up, and like, man, fuck all that bullshit, you know. But yeah, I'm over here ranting. There's a couple more guys. We'll pass it out.
I enjoy listening to you. I never knew that about you.
Oh yeah,
and like, now I understand a little bit more about who you are.
Yeah. How do you describe yourself, yourself, and then you yourself as an artist? Or same question, you know?
Because myself or a kid, simply. It's just back to that, a kid, man.
That's beautiful.
Kid, man. And from time to time, I pretend to be adult, and that's when I hit those walls and life smacks me. But it's good. It's good. Again, I'm trying to navigate through this world, and this world tells me one thing, and then my soul tells me another thing. And it's just like, oh yeah, I'm a soul surfer, so I love that. Got to ride with the soul, you know.
I love that. A Voyager.
Yeah.
My brother, Senor Shapeless.
I want to make sure, I want to go off of a few things that Cortez said and what Roman said. I was trying to define what's over here and how we're multi-talented, multifaceted. Like this is the creative arts over here, you know, that umbrella of the creative arts for sure, because that is making music and making visual art and cooking and enjoying some different food and taste and the smell of things. We have people come over here and make candles, and it's just the creative arts, creating with your energy, spending every day doing that. Another thing that Cortez said, you know, he brought up the Padawan dynamic of, you know, and for anybody that doesn't know, that's listening, it's like a teacher-student, you know, bringing up a teacher-student dynamic. I feel like what works amazingly in this circle and in this type of energy is that we all play that role to each other, and we all play the teacher role to each other. We are all constantly learning from each other. Roman is a few decades more developed than us, but he still lets us know when he's learning something new from us, in the same way that he is constantly teaching us something new every week, every experience that we have. So that, I feel, is a major dynamic that helps this go. And it's not for everybody. Some people need to feel like they're the best in the room, or can't grow out of feeling like they're less, or whatever that is, you know. But you know, it's a lot less of that and more of the other thing of needing to feel like they're the best in the room. They can't learn anything new from nobody else. Like, that's not a tenet of Roman as an artist. So I picked that up more and more myself. I've been talking about that more and more lately, of like, you know, I didn't come up under nobody with a group of people, this or that. You know, I've kind of been a Ronin on my own all through everything, and I link up with a lot of different other people. But like, yeah, no, Roman would be the studio head. Roman would be my main dude, that's my crew head, you know, at least for me, you know, like that is my guy that I look to for major guidance. You know, like I said, I've learned from everybody around me. I'm in the school of Roman, you know, I am a Roman artist, but you know, saying a Roman artist, that could mean, you know, Rome, the place. So I have to really, you know, be thinking about that. But I've been letting people know that, because within that, it comes not just the art making of, what is it? You got a bag of random things. I'm gonna make some art out of it before the end of the day. Just in art style, but also in the ideals. And if you're a creative, what can I? Let me say some things to try to get you to do that more or better and keep being a creative. You know, he doesn't have to look out for literally anybody else. He's still developing his own art styles and his own body of work and all that. So that's a busy task for any of us. But he spends every single day with hundreds of people, possibly thousands in his world, that have met him and, in the same sense, man, look to him for some type of inspiration, some type of guidance, whatever it is, you know. And so I definitely carry myself in that same way, you know. Cortez brought it up about being at Sky Art. Same way, man. You know, I say it every once in a while, you know. My art crew is from 7 to 70 plus, man, and everything in between. Like, that is my art crew, you know. And we have that same drive and goal of creating every day. Miguel Cisneros, he would be another person that we'd all love to have sitting here with us. But he does the same thing, you know. Yeah, man. He is a multimedia artist. He loves what he does, and he does it every day. And that's a major part of it. I'm Matt Rodriguez. I go by Shapeless. Born and raised all through this area right here, man. I'm from the projects in South Deering, 106th and Torrance. No, not 106th and Torrance, 116th and Yates. Nice. We moved out of there when I was like 5, right there by the Big Grass. Then we moved to the east side, to that yellow apartment on 97th and Avenue L that is no longer there. And that's an infamous block. No, that's definitely infamous. I would say, like I said, 93 Studios, I would rather it be famous than infamous, you know. Yeah. Infamous is, it's hard to get away from infamous. So we're working hard to make this, you know, a famous block in a way that you could say Pilsen, and that brings up some ideas. You could say North Side Chicago, and that brings up some ideas. So South Chicago and Southeast Side, we want this to be famous. And famous for the right reasons. Yes. So, you know, that's a big part of all of this, you know, the arts, the creative arts, again. But yeah, Matt Rodriguez, I go by Shapeless, Planet Shapeless, Stay Shapeless, just all of it, man. And, you know, I've been rocking with that since like 2003 or 4. So, you know, it's been a long fucking journey to now be here having this conversation, this round table, and this is definitely this is a round table. This is amazing. This is not an interview, it's just a conversation with the homies, you know. This is great.
We met a lot of interesting people, a lot of dope talent, and I'm curious by nature, and I ask a lot of questions, and I ask, you know, is my main thing is, what is your passion? And their passion is usually, for the most part, their passion was fueled by a 9-to-5 job or something.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So to me, that was kind of secondary. One of the very few individuals that I know that actually found a passion at a very young age and stuck with it. Like, this is my 9-to-5, this is my jam, this is how I'm gonna live, this is how I'm gonna be defined, and this is how I'm gonna make a living. And to me, that's a very Ronin, that's a very bold, ballsy move for someone to make at a very young age. You know what? I'm not gonna work at McDonald's. I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna make art. I'm gonna do what my heart says. I'm gonna do what my passion is, and I'm gonna stick to it. And I'm gonna make money, my living, off of it. And to me, from my perspective, that's a very hard choice, because I'm pretty sure there are some very hard times, especially in the beginning, or even now. But for me to see that in that perspective is like, oh shit. You are one, again, I feel like this is Voltron. I have 6, 7 individuals in here that have very, very unique talents, individually. Multi-talented, everyone in here is multi-talented. But then when you guys come together, it's like, oh shit, it's Voltron. It's like it's a Megazord. It's the Wu-Tang Clan. Like, oh shit, some shit's about to go down.
Everything had to line up perfectly for the meeting of styles to start kicking off out here. Like, just within that, and we've just side note this, but like, Dtel is definitely the head, and that is a Dtel, El Dtel
Ooh, yes.
show, the meeting of styles, and I do everything I can in support of that. Roman does it, Cortez does it, everybody right here at the core group, Maria does it. We all do everything we can to support that. He is the graffiti artist and the graffiti legend. He spent the last 2 decades building that, and you know, there literally is no choice for the rest of us besides helping that along, because it's just, that is naturally what it is. We have been gifted of, like, we are not graffiti artists, but you are now in this world, and every graffiti artist out here loves us just as much because of those events. And that's like, again, that's like some, I don't have the word for it right now. That's something else completely. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. That's a huge footnote we're gonna say for you, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To touch back on a couple more things you said, I actually did work at McDonald's for. And, you know,
The truth comes out, baby.
No, absolutely. During high school, no. You know, because I feel what you're saying. At a certain point, because I definitely want to get to this point of when you said of taking that plunge and walking away from that life into this thing, and you know, and that's when, you know, it gets a little crazy. But just speaking here, and I'm sure a lot of people locally will be listening to this. So my first job was a summer out of like 8th grade, and I was too young to work. I had to go get a work permit from Bessemer Park right here down the street. And my first boss at my first job was Sue Garza.
Oh wow.
Running a summer camp, and I was a camp counselor, and even just full circle now, Stephen Walsh was one of my kids at the camp and stuff.
And I think I went to the same camp too, right? Yeah, that's some wild shit. Because Steve, a year older than me, I was probably in that same camp while you were doing that shit.
So, you know, as soon as even before I was old enough to work, I got a job, and I always had jobs all the way up to a certain point that I'll get to. But, you know, the time I worked at McDonald's, I was a teenager. I worked 2 jobs one summer. I worked 3 jobs at a certain point at that time, and you know, it was in like you were saying, Tony. It was in a matter of I'm doing that to be able to fund the rest of the stuff that I wanted to keep doing. But at a certain point, I was working my last job. I gave my 2 weeks notice, and immediately afterwards, I moved to California. I drove cross country, and I went to go stay with my cousin Hawk for like a good 10 months out of my life, and to me it just still feels like years. That's what every day counted, it mattered. But that would be the reason and the main influence for me not going back to a job, because he passed away December 2019, and that dude didn't work a day in his life at a day job, and he traveled the whole world, and it was just all off of music, making beats, producing for people, writing, all of that. And no matter what, found a way, figured it out. I'm going somewhere. Yeah, well, what is it? Give me a ticket. Where's the ticket? It's waiting for you. There, all right, bet, I'll be there. And so that was his lifestyle always. Yeah, he had family members that helped support that and do that, but it was, you know, because he showed the effort every year of his life, and so he had that force behind him that kept him in line and doing that. So that's amazing. But yeah, no, that pushed me. Once I moved back out here, I never went back to a job until I got to Sky Art, and oh no, it was rough. It was rough years.
Yeah.
You know, my whole dress style comes from wearing the same clothes and making paintings for extended amounts of time, man, and not buying new shit.
Nice. I love it, man. So, again, a Ronin, a pioneer, someone that's very unique. Your own. You chose your own beat of your own drum, your own Voyager, and to me, that's, again, I'm in a room of people just like you.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Completely different, unique, but very similar in that. And I always find that interesting and highly respectable. I love being around people like that because, again, like you said, it's the energy, it's the vibes, man. Oh man. So, of course, how do you describe your style as an artist?
Mixed media artist, a creative, you know, the creative arts, like I said. It's Tony, were you at Crap? You were involved in Crap Rock 1?
Yes.
You performed there?
Yeah. that's a huge old shout out.
Right. So, you know, we threw an event. I think this goes back to even shit that Cortez was saying. You know, we threw an event as teenagers in the end of our freshman year.
Wow.
November, or no, so I guess that was the beginning of our junior year, I would think. November 2001. In a basement, a bunch of bands. Straight edge, no alcohol, no drugs.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it's unheard of right now. It's literally unheard of right now.
Yeah.
And the truth is, you know, I think about it pretty often. It's like, yeah, no, I'm still riding that same energy from November 2001 from throwing that first show, man.
Wow.
I haven't taken more than a month off of being creative and doing something, doing some music. I went from heading up a band when that band stopped, kept on throwing shows with people. Once that stopped, bought some drum machines, started making instrumentals and beats, bought a digital Tascam, like 24 track recorder.
Yeah.
Started recording, learning stuff, bring it back to this. My cousin Hawk Beats came out here one time from Cuba or California or wherever he was at the time, brought a Bluebird microphone and the original M-Box, and I saved up for another like 4 or 5 months after that, bought that stuff myself.
Damn.
Taught myself Pro Tools, started learning all that, take it to the digital realm. Creative artist, man, yeah, I love music, I live for it. I love visuals, like music videos and movies and TV shows. I love it. I love good writing. I've dabbled in all of it, man. I have music online, and going back to Cortez too. I don't throw it out there and self-promote all the time. Even this, I was a little hesitant to even do this, man. You know, honestly,
we're chopping it up about it, right?
Oh, absolutely, man. I don't like doing all this. Absolutely, man. And my main drive, and even just being here already for this, is this experience. That's the easiest way to try to be an artist and live this lifestyle. You know, more and more think that way. I don't have to get up and be inspired. Even if I'm having a bad day and a bad morning, that's what my art is going to be for that day.
The reason why I love that question for you is just because you have a very, for me, from my perspective, you have a very unique style.
Yeah.
It's very unique. It's very
the word and name Shapeless from 2003 or 2004 came from that. Came from I was even I was the front man for a metal band, and then I transitioned to making very different types of instrumentals, and then I started writing hip hop verses right after. And that was still in a time when you literally, with the word poser gets thrown around and this or that, you're one thing.
Goddamn poser.
Yeah, you know? And it was just like, no, it was anti that. No, I'm shapeless. I'll fucking do anything. I'll be all of it. You know, why not,
beautiful.
man? Yeah, because I like all of it. I love all of it. We talk about it heavily at SkyArt. Every kid there watches and loves anime now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that wasn't the case back when we were growing up and stuff. And I loved anime. I love foreign films. I love all of it, man. And so, you know, it spawned from that for sure. And my whole style and name and all of it just kind of came together in that way. And I don't know where I first got it from. I truly don't. But I'm glad I found it and it found me. Yep. I literally still have the first email that I started in 2003 with that word in it. That's how I know when I started using that name, because that was my first email in a class.
Wow. My other brother from another.
Yeah.
My man Cosmo. Describe who you are, my friend.
I am an artist from South Deering. I've been painting my whole life. I've been playing music my whole life. Art maybe since like the age of 5. Music since the age of like 10.
Wow.
I played at church. I played at all different churches around here. And I would dedicate most of my time to music. And always art was secondary, but I've always painted forever, you know, depending on the mood of the day, the colors. If it was, you know, winter, it would be different colors, depending on the season. Yeah, and I've always loved art, and but I always had a passion for music. I loved music, and I first heard the Beatles through my dad when I was like 5 or 6.
Wow. Do you have like a specific song that you know this was the song?
The Yellow Submarine. On the cassette, and he went to Mexico City to visit family over there, and came back, and he was like, he gathered all the kids together, and he played the Beatles, and I was just amazed by their voices, by
the one
everything.
song that I actually never really hear is like, I don't even know the name, or maybe it's called 64 or something. It's like, I get older, dudes in my head, many years from now. Will you still be sending me a Valentine birthday? That's crazy because like as a shorty,
that's beautiful.
Remember being little as fuck, but how impactful that was. I just even remember being in the tub, bro, in my mind, just singing this shit like, damn, and me thinking of those deep thoughts when I'm 64, when I'm 64.
Like you imagine yourself.
And it's more so of a romance, like song with your wife or, you know, whomever. Yeah. But me, I was taking it as a kid, it's like, man, when I'm 64, well I'll be like this, you know? So it's dope that, you know, the Beatles.
The Beatles, like, is what made me pick up an instrument.
I grew up in the back of the yards, bro. My favorite band of all time is Bone Thugs and Harmony. To my heart, bro. To my heart. Dude, bro. They got some good music, and you like. Sometimes they're hard to understand, but once you like listen to the lyrics, you're like, God damn, they're deep, bro. So that was my kind of music growing up. That's all I knew. Bone Thugs, 3 6 Mafia, fucking Ludacris when he was coming up, and shit like that, you know. And then. So I didn't know anything else besides Mexican music that my parents listened to, or hip hop that my fucking people from school listened to. I didn't know nothing else. There was a social studies teacher that played a Beatles record while we fucking doing our little homework thing, activities and shit. And I was like, what the fuck, who's this? Like this is something new to me. Yeah. And it was the Beatles in the beginning when they're like rock and roll. When they had those haircuts and shit. And I'm like, man, this is badass. And then I started looking into them in the internet. And then the song for me is A Day in the Life. Oh, yeah. That motherfucker sends me through fucking crazy fucking emotions, bro.
It's a roller coaster. Yeah. I like how they composed it and put it together.
And then the end with the pianos all together.
Genius, yes.
So when I had COVID the first time, I ended up hospitalized, bro. Yeah, and there was a second where I thought I was gonna fucking die. I'm like being really honest, bro. And I was like really fucking scared for my kids and shit. And I'm like, fuck, I gotta change this shit. So in between all that, getting better and being in the hospital for like a fucking week, and then going home and being out for like 2 weeks from work, trying to recover. I can't see my kids, bro. I couldn't hear music. Music's usually my savior for like balancing myself out. And I couldn't even hear music, bro. Like it did nothing really gave me energy, nothing. I was like almost a dead soul kind of shit. And then
that's horrible.
Once I started feeling better, I went outside. I remember I went outside and I went for there was a trail, and I lived in Blue Island during that time. Blue Island just created a trail. And then so I took the trail, I went out, I went by the water, bro, and I was just chilling. And then I'm like, I felt better. I went home. The first song I listened to, A Day in the Life.
Beautiful.
I was in fucking tears, bro. Tears, bro.
It's amazing what music does to you. Like when you go through hard times. That perfect song that soothes the soul.
When your dad showed you your shit. Like, you said
I was like 5. I was like 5, I was the youngest of all my brothers.
What did you start with? Guitar?
I started with guitar at church. I had to play at church. I was like, oh no! Wow. But I played at church, and I learned a lot because they have beautiful chords and circle of fifths, and I learned a lot. Church was beautiful.
So you played multiple instruments, because I know you through Stardust.
The bass.
Yeah. So the first time I saw them, it was years and years ago. You guys stopped after the song was done and switched. So the singer was now the bassist, and the bassist is now the drummer, and the drummer is now the guitarist.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, no, these guys can't do that. And then you guys did, and I'm like, all right, how do you sound? And you guys sounded, bro, it was awesome, man. To me, that blew my mind, because to me, all you guys, again, have to be your own Ronin, your own Wu-Tang, and know kind of each other's parts, and then to play it good, like, oh.
Yeah. And the thing is that, like, all of us played in different bands. Like, growing up, just different bands playing together. So all of us had different combinations of those band members. So when you play with certain people, you almost think like them when you're playing. Like you're in the same mentality. Like when someone messes up, someone else could fix your error.
Yeah. So whenever you're performing and had those mistakes, because obviously I've been in a band too. Like, how smooth were you guys in the sense of just like recorrecting when someone got off?
It all depends on the drummer. If the drummer was a bad fool, you just jumping rope and hopping in.
If my drummer sees it, bro, like I would probably maybe even forget like a line or a verse or some shit, and then dude, the drummer would keep it, and then I was like, okay, I almost even say random shit, and then catch back on, or
you could even just scream something like they don't know what I'm saying.
So that's dope in that sense, because again, you know, you're performing and you reach those points where you kind of
you do. But they become beautiful fuck ups sometimes.
Especially when you're in hindsight, right? You look back and like, how the hell did we save this? Without just completely stopping. Like I've definitely never completely stopped.
No, that's the number one rule. Never ever stop.
Or something.
If it's all fucked up, it was meant to be like that.
You try to play
live.
No shit. You just keep doing your thing. You know,
it was 6, 8, 7, 4. You start making all kinds of numbers. It was purposely made like.
Oh yeah.
How many instruments, or how many in the music side? Give me your musical rundown, your synapses.
Like like how many instruments I play? Oh, like I sing, I compose, I try to do all these things.
No,
it's fine. No, you do it.
Guitar.
You do it. That's right. Instrumentation. You can.
I just have fun.
I know you brought up hand drums. You brought up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I just try to
just to point something out, that exact same thing is that modesty shit, man. It's something that we all have a correlation.
Hey, and so it goes into that. Being able to say the creative arts.
I don't think we're better.
Yeah, I don't know how to play any instruments, but I've been making music since 2001, and I don't know how to play instruments, and I make a lot of instrumentals, and I produce a lot of stuff over the years, and I don't know chords or notes or any of it. I have only ever written or made stuff by what sounds good to me. Only ever, man.
And that's the most important part.
Absolutely. So I'm a music maker. Again, I'm not a producer or a guitar player of instruments. So a music maker. As a music maker, what all do you have experience messing with? Even I don't care if it's some maracas, because again, you feel like just anybody would know. Like what experience do you have with different instruments?
I played flute, bass,
you brought a flute in recently.
Congas, maracas.
You never fuck with the accordion?
Bass.
You are a one-man band.
You ever fuck with the accordion?
The accordion I tried, it's really hard.
I bet
I gave up like a few tries. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I've never messed with one.
I'm gonna hire you, man. You're gonna do everything, bro.
Music makers, man.
I love music, and I played guitar when I was younger. But that's it.
Yeah.
But I always have a respect for it. So when I saw you as an individual doing multi-level music, like, he singing the multiple instruments, and then the art. Can you describe real quick the art? Because I love the art.
The art,
and then you got to bring up the chair.
It's deep, hell
yeah.
You got to bring up the chair.
The art is just something that I've been doing forever, and at the beginning it was just like in extremes, like if I was extremely sad, extremely happy, special events, I started painting like that.
Emotional.
It was all emotional. Like I needed to express myself to, I don't know, not cry. Yeah. Yeah, so that's always been part of my life, and but like I said, it was always like put to the side because I was mainly into the music, like it was everything music. I've been from bands, from church bands to punk rock to cumbia to norteño.
That's pretty much like my story of my drummer, bro. He whenever he talks about his shit,
and he's a
bandas and shit. Like, so hell yeah, man.
I've been I just want to learn from everybody. Like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, this guy plays accordion, and I was like, hey, I just bought a bass that I don't know how to play, but let's figure it out. And that's how I would take instruments that I didn't know how to play to church.
No shit.
Because they won't boo you. They're like, oh my gosh. Hopefully the Lord helps them get better. You know what I mean? Instead of booing you.
That's crazy, man.
I bought an upright bass. I took it over there. I didn't know shit. It was just like, oh. I was just like, oh my gosh, let's see. It's around here. It's around here. And eventually you figure it out, and it's church.
Maybe God has other plans for him.
They would just throw like holy water at me, like hopefully it gets better.
Whatever you did worked.
I took a guitar, a mariachi bass. Also, I didn't know how to play it. I took it there.
The big one?
Hey,
yeah, you play with like 6 strings.
I need to definitely express this right now, because this even cycles back to some stuff that Cortez was saying about that modesty, and that, you know, like, or even, you know, it came from a place of not having that right amount of confidence in something while I'm doing or this or that, right? Dude, to get on a stage in front of people with an instrument that you have no experience with, that is actually something else completely. Yeah, I totally applaud that. Yeah, absolutely, man. In the eyes of God. That's something that I'm challenging myself with doing now in my life, at this part of my journey as an artist. Definitely, man.
That's wild.
Like I said about, you know, again, it started with me saying about Roman of like, yo, you could give him a black garbage bag filled with stuff, and all right, from the time you see the stuff, you have an hour to make some out of it, and as soon as he sees it, it's over. I'm doing that. So to hear that, man, that's like that. Like that's again, that self-challenge, that challenge in his world. Like there's too many people that are just comfortable with being good enough at this part of it, and I'm just gonna do that forever and never even try to change that or anything, man.
Which ain't wrong in that sense, but really, we are the versatile.
That's right. Yeah,
we've been articulating.
That's why I'm just talking about this environment, man. Yeah, this environment, man. Absolutely. So to hear that's like
sense in the creative world.
I'm sure at some point I've had an actual nightmare about that type of situation, dude, of being on a stage in front of people with an instrument that I don't know what the fuck. Like that is crazy, dude. That's I love that. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, man.
Again, as you can see, not just me, multiple people. You are a talented individual, man.
Thanks,
you know what I mean?
Thanks.
Yeah. So knowing you and oh shit. So. No, you didn't describe your chair. Hell no.
The chair. The chair appears in a lot of my paintings, and it like sometimes it's hidden, sometimes it's just there up front. Sometimes I paint it in back of the painting, and basically it describes me as an observer of life. When I was younger, I used to ditch school, take acid, go to downtown, sit down at a bus stop, and observe the world.
That's wild.
And everybody running and running and running, and nobody would even like acknowledge that. I was just like, whoa, breathing air.
What did you see? What did you observe?
I observed everybody is in a hurry and nobody gets to enjoy life. Everybody's just running. Wow. And I felt like the outsider sitting down, observing everybody connected, almost like gotta go. And then there's musicians playing. At the time, there was musicians playing in downtown, and like nobody paying attention to them. And I was there just observing everything, and the chair represents that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sick. Fuck yeah.
That's
That's fucking dope, man.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That
Senor
before you go into it,
go ahead.
that just makes me, you know, Roman has told me the story behind some of the symbolic things that appear in his paintings, but that just makes me want to know more and more about all the stuff that Roman puts in a lot of paintings, man, over all these years I've known him. Because I'm sure it all has a story. And just from also just the examples that I know from a couple of those symbols, like I'm sure it all does, man. That's awesome. Again, it helps to appreciate art more and more, you know. You could see a simple painting of your chair on a wall and just, it's just a chair, if somebody doesn't know. But if they can hear that or read that and what that means, that it affects it greatly. Definitely.
And in that sense, you know, like just being artists and, you know, us having that sense of modesty at times, it's like, it's almost like, at least in sale wise or trying to hype up your art, like that story shit, especially learning from Roman, like Roman has a story for every single one of his paintings. And if not, he'll come up with one. Right there for you.
Absolutely.
And that is an art in itself, and it's something that I've obviously been paying attention to and realizing, like, that's key for I don't know what I'm really trying to say, but it's key for the captivate. I don't even know what the right word is to say, but it's the right thing to really draw the attention to the audience, or
it definitely creates a connection with the art viewer.
Exactly.
You know, there are a lot of different ways to do that stuff in all these different worlds that we're doing, because I do see allowing people to make up their own story within my abstract stuff, that creates that same similar connection. But to have a story already in it, to actually represent it in a way that somebody can see that object, and now you have the story behind it, you know, that is definitely that's a whole different idea of connecting with a viewer, as opposed to, you know, creating abstract art and letting them see what they need to see or want to see, or they just naturally see in their painting, you know. But yeah, like you said, like that's, you know, that is definitely an amazing.
It's a captivating.
Absolutely. Like, it adds that whole other dynamic to
because again, you're saying that it's just like, oh shit, now I see your shit.
Exactly.
Something else that I already knew was deep. But now you articulating that, like, oh, now I knew there was always symbolism, and you know, you have a lot of symbolism in your work. And especially with Roman, like Shape was saying, and it's just like, just you talking about, now I understand it more, you know. And then that's where I feel like, not that I lack the sense of, but I have to get better at the sense of almost like telling the stories. And again, this right here is a great platform to, you know, to actually tell those stories. That's dope, man. It's real fucking dope.
Thanks, man.
How would you describe your style as an artist? And then how do you describe you as an artist?
I would describe myself. I would describe myself as all over the place. Like, because I am, you know, I go through so many different moods,
different chairs,
you know, and my art, everything from like wood burning to like now recently doing more stone carving. It's just it's all over the place, you know, and it's also stuff that really affects me. Stuff that, like, I did an eagle that represents my dad. Everything, for some reason, with the stone carving right now, everything is going back to dad and mom. You know? But I'm enjoying the stone carving a lot at the moment. it's kind of taking over.
Yeah.
The paintbrushes on the side looking at me like, you traitor! You traitor!
I definitely.
And I'm over there with the little hammer like,
You definitely have you have a unique soundtrack in this building. I know when Joel Cosmo is in this building because I hear it. I hear it going. Roman has his own sounds and all that, and it's in that experience, and it's all different tools and different stuff going on. But like lately, while you've been here for these last few months, man, it's that tapping away, man. Every tap fucking counts, man. So you definitely have a soundtrack to what you're doing, yeah, man.
And footnote for later, you like to run a lot.
I do.
You like to run, and that's fun. Yes, we're gonna save that for later.
Yeah, that fool told me that shit too, and I was intrigued. I'm like, damn.
We crossed paths during one of his runs, dude. I was disc golfing with my kids, and then I see this dude running towards me. And he didn't have a hat on, so I didn't know who he was.
Like, who the hell is this?
He's walking straight at me, bro, and I'm like, and then he started talking. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Joel. And I'm like, hey, what's up, bro? And he's like, I'm good. Just wanted to say hi. And he left.
I'm timing myself. I gotta go.
Yeah.
You're a man on a mission.
Yeah, man on the mission. Yeah.
That's dope.
And on the moon sometimes. All the time. So much.
I hold certain people from South Chicago in a different category. There's nothing wrong, but just it's in a different category. Just because for me, growing up there, it's a certain little microcosm, and Roman knows it's its own little individual island inside of Chicago, and then there's the East Side and Slag and everything else. From South Chicago, you have a unique perspective, and from my perspective, you took a culture and you ran with it. The hip hop culture, the art, the graffiti, the breakdancing, everything from a very young age, and you ran with it. Oh, and now to see what you're doing. Oh, so I'm gonna hand it over, my man.
Dtel, man.
Cheers, my brother. Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, first, let me just say, thank you for doing this. Like, I appreciate everybody's efforts and what they do, from being just around and to participate and to hold space and all that stuff. Like, I appreciate everything 100%. For the reason is that we didn't have that when we were shorties. We didn't have that. We didn't have. It was really rough living in South Chicago.
Tell them.
I'm sorry I skipped my name, but
You good, man. We said
Dtel, South Chicago artist,
yes.
graffiti artist, really, and lately like community organizer. How does that sound? Okay, I'm just playing. But yeah, so
you're carpenter too. I was considered city planner.
Yeah.
I mean, Obama was city planner before he became president from this very city, and like I just said, prior to 2019, it wasn't like this. And now it's different.
So it's been a long fight though.
Man, absolutely.
It's been like a really, really long fight.
How long have you been in this graffiti?
Man, so I started tagging, really. Everybody starts tagging in grade school, in like 97, 98. We're tagging the books, we're tagging CPS, we're tagging everything, and nobody really knows what that is. It's like an experiment, really.
Absolutely.
You come up with a name and it might flow for a little bit, it works, it doesn't work, it sticks, it doesn't stick, I've only had 2 names.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
Because I know, like my drummer, he's heavy into graph, but like he mainly does sketches,
Yeah.
Sketch work, not like on a bigger level where he's like bombing all the time, And he used to when he was younger.
He's from Corn out there, and
he was heavy into the graph, and he still is. But
he's caught a bullet for his exploits.
Wow!
So he was.
Hey, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. That's all part of the game.
Yes, sir.
So my first name was IHOP.
Oh.
It was just like really random, like IHOP, like like, fuck it, I ran with it, and I was painting everything. I was painting over people, man. I was, motherfucker wanted to beat me up and shit. Like, it was crazy. So like, I had to change it. I was like, man, fuck this. I can't do this no more. I'm gonna get my ass whooped, you know? So I came up with like Dtel in high school. I think in 2001, I believe. Dtel. Yeah, it was just like, I'm gonna try something different, you know? So I picked Dtel, and I've been Dtel since that day. Yeah. I've come up with like different acronyms, but they're really fucking dirty. But you know, I'll share with that. I'll share later.
Behind the scenes.
Nah, you know, I don't really like. Nobody really knows, but like, and nobody is gonna know. I'm sorry. Okay, that's one of my things. You know, like I just, you know, experimenting with like different things. You know, but so you know, back to like, you know, painting graffiti. Like it was cool because like I was able to like meet a lot of people. You know, it was really hard at first, you know, because we're so disconnected from like the rest of Chicago. Like this is like Chicago, this is Chicago, but like I feel like this is like not Chicago for some reason, you know. So like we gotta go up north, but nobody comes down south, and it's the same distance. It's the same distance, you know.
To bounce off of that, describe how growing up in South Chicago was. Man. In your perspective, in your own.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth, man. Like everybody was a motherfucking gangbanger in South Chicago. Everybody fucking gangbang, carry guns. We're gonna go.
Was that like heavy '90s, like turn one?
Man, it's been like that forever. You know, just till like recently.
Because like growing up, like it was like too like I was born in '90. I mean, you in '82?
I was born in '84, and I got here in '91. When the night that we got here was the night that the Chicago Bulls had won their first championship. So check this out. So I was born in California. I'm from Los Angeles. My sister and my other little brother, we were all born in California, and we left California because my dad said that it was really bad. There was riots going on. It was really rough for my dad to be out there. So we leave, we pack all that shit into a van, and like we fucking drive to Chicago and shit. And I guess the Bulls have fucking won, so they're burning cars, they're shooting. Yeah, it was insane. And to right here, 92nd in Baltimore, and like my family was having like a party and shit, you know. So like everybody's drunk and wasted, and we're like, what the fuck is going on? You know, we don't, you know.
Your dad was like, oh fuck.
Yeah, so that was like my and that memory for me is like really like embedded in my brain.
Meme these days, core memory right there, man. Yeah, core fucking memory, man. First day in, hell yeah, man.
But just to the interject on my quick upbringing too, like it was heavy gang in my like, like a lot of gang shit. Like all my cousins were older.
Yeah. You know? So like, man, oh you know what gangs are here, you know, and without saying it, and like on one block it'd be this gang, and then another block it'd be this gang, and then like boom, 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 and you know, and it was really like really concentrated. Like I felt like everybody was in that shit, or if you weren't in it, you know somebody that was in it.
Yeah, exactly. That's
you know, and like so it was all tied no matter what. So like if I had a friend that lived over there in Bessemer Park, like oh fuck, like we gotta go to this block and we gotta do, you know, it was
you gotta go through this hood.
Yeah.
This gang.
Yeah.
This hood,
just to go visit your cousin or your boy, you know, like so yeah, it was like that. So like, and it was really like heavy into gang graffiti. I think South Chicago gang graffiti is like so underrated.
Oh yeah.
Man, we got hand styles. Yeah. The Old English letters, the Masters, the Knights, like all that stuff. The staff, like I remember seeing that shit everywhere, all over down Commercial Avenue, on my block, and I think like that's what like really like got my attention. Like like the Old English letters and the way they made their Masters and how they represented their blocks, 89th, you know 91st, you know, the shields and all that shit. And,
64th and 63rd, you know, in the Chicago rap community.
Yeah, and even like the gang culture is like super interesting, like and really like complex, you know, and it goes back like 60s, 50s, you know, and it sets, and then the names. Also, the names of the gangs were like really fucking dope, and I was like, wow. And talking to like the older people, like Roman, like he would give me a story from back in the day, and he would say a name from a gang, and I'd be like, wow, like damn, that's a cool fucking name, you know? That's a cool fucking name, and I'm thinking like that's what graffiti is, like picking a name. Picking a dope name and, you know, and having like a dope crew, you know, like the X-Men or whatever, or these local crews, DS, you know, dope styles, you know, like, Kisa, the guys from Indiana and stuff like that. Caught my attention, bro. Like the letters, you know what I'm saying? And I was already getting into like 8th grade, so like at first, you know, growing up, you're like throwing rocks, riding your bikes with friends, and then you start getting a little bit older, and like you're introduced to like, oh, okay, like, hey, like we don't fuck with those people, you know. You start learning, you know, and then like you start getting involved, and like, you know, by the time you're in high school, like you're not really like in those junior gangs anymore. Like you're like out there gangbanging for real. So I seen a lot of fucked up shit happen, you know. Being around in South Chicago, I seen death, people get stabbed, like I seen all that shit. And me personally, at a real young age, I was like, man, fuck that. Like that ain't my life. Like I don't like that, you know. Like I don't want to say that I wasn't built for that, because like you could be built for anything. You just gotta like adapt yourself to your environment, you know. And then you become anything you want, really. But for me personally, I was like, nah, that ain't, you know. And then like my parents, like they raised us kind of like these, you know, their first generation, you know, come to America, so like they're still trying to figure out, you know, you're not rich, you know. My parents came from Mexico over here by themselves, so they didn't have no family out here. They didn't have, you know, my parents were like stressed out for money, because, you know, there isn't any money for right. You know, so it's 4 or 5 kids living in the house, and like, you know, now that I'm older, I understand like how stressed my parents were.
Oh, definitely.
I respect that a lot. When I was younger, like I didn't really like give a fuck. But I think like me growing up and understanding life a little better, like I appreciate that shit, man. You know, and the thing is, like sometimes we don't even say that shit. Like, hey man, thank you, gracias. Yeah. You know, thank you. You know, like maybe because like we're too prideful or shit like that. Because like going back to what you said, like teaching people like values and like and being important and being unique and accepting yourself, bro, like that's really important, man. Because our parents didn't really talk to us like that. My parents like you know, they didn't really like, they didn't know how. They didn't know how, bro. They didn't know how. So we ended up in the streets fucking around. I'm running away from getting beat up by my dad, you know, like I don't want to be at home, so like I'm hanging out with A, B, and C, and now we're getting into some shit, you know.
Right. Again, from my perspective, like with Shapeless, you were an individual as well as I. In my perspective, those aren't my vibes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's.
Oh man, I remember. I remember when we used to ride our BMX bikes and build ramps and shit like that, man.
Yeah, because like you said earlier, we grew up with it, and that was our environment. But you, like we kind of chose like, nah, that's not my vibe. I don't want to go that route. Yeah. So for me, it was always, well, what can we do? To find something. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And it was interesting because you chose a graffiti art, and me, it was a different route. But watching your Voyager, you're like, nah, I don't want that route. And me, like, nah, I don't want that route either. You know what I mean? And our paths always crossed, and it was always interesting to see what you were doing. And then
those are really important, you know, decisions to make in life, man. Like because like I think you can fall real fast into some bullshit, you know? I was looking at my 8th grade graduation class, and like all the guys that are in there are like super dope, and some of them are not with us no more. Some of them are locked up for life, you know? Some of them are doing really good, you know? And it's really interesting to see like the choices that they made led them to like different places, you know? But for me, like I said, man, I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna tag. And at first it was like, yeah, it's fun, whatever. Didn't really take it too serious. And then like I started meeting people, and like, okay, this is something cool, this is something else. And then I stopped for a minute. I stopped because I was like fucking around in the streets, you know, drinking. We're old enough to drink and we're partying and all that shit, man. But I always kept like an eye out like for things like tags, okay, this and that, and like slowly brought me in back to painting. So the way it all went down in South Chicago for graffiti was like I met Rafa at the Hilltops.
Oh yeah. Describe the Hilltops.
Man, it's like, man, dude, like
oh right now.
You see, like everybody got like a different idea of what the Hilltops is.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the Hilltops was like school.
Interesting.
Wow.
School, because it was so active with like original graffiti writers that like every time you went up there, like
where everyone was kind of practicing this shit.
it was like everybody was like practicing and developing their techniques, because graffiti's new. It's not like you know a fucking Michelangelo. Yeah.
Of the last generation of it, no, it just started.
Yeah, so like graffiti like it just evolves. It evolves all the time. It's always evolving. So like those guys are up there, and I'm like, holy shit, like, and I'm seeing and I'm peeping and I'm learning, and you know, and we're doing, and now we're getting a little bit more serious, you know. And I think like as your art evolves, like your personality also evolves. You know, like for me, like I'm a little bit older and I have more responsibilities, and I want to be like a mentor. So like it starts getting like more serious, and you got to be careful what you paint and where you paint and what you do and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like man, like you want to be out there like just going crazy, but at the same time like for me, like I want to do something positive. And it's been like a really long road to get where we at, you know. Like there was like I said, there was maybe 1 or 2 murals. The Michael Gamaliel mural, Gamaliel, sorry, and the Vietnam mural, which was painted twice, and the second time I painted them.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. The second time. Yeah. Me and Rafa, we got the like a little gig going on to like you know do it all over again, and that was like that for me right there was like, man, this is what I want to do.
Damn.
Yeah.
That was dope. Salute to that one, man.
Yeah. Salute to the vet. Hey, salute to Sam, the brother Sam.
Sam.
R.I.P. Sam. He's another victim of COVID, man. That fool, man.
To survive Vietnam.
Yeah, I only got to befriend him for like a year or two, but man.
But that ties
Rest in
into
peace, brother Sam.
to Stephen Walsh and the whole documentary, because we're learning about that. The wall, the whole, everything's kind of connected from what that era is, and from our generation, what we're seeing. We're seeing the ripple effects what happened back then. You know what I mean? I didn't know you drew that. That's dope, man. So salute that, man.
And you know, from the very beginning, like we're breakdancing, we're experimenting, we're taking videos, you know, with the camcorders, like we're going to these parties, and like we're trying to figure out like which route we want to go, you know. Some of us breakdance, some of us, you know, DJ, I'm a horrible rapper, like I'm a horrible speaker too, you know, like I really don't like.
Your honesty is kicking in.
You know, like this is that in our like this is like my first time. I thought about it when you sent me the message. I was sitting there and I was like, man, like I'm not trying to talk again, like You know,
I guess.
but like I felt like, you know what, everybody's gonna be there, and like this is kind of like a group thing. Like I need to participate, you know. But yeah. So back to the graffiti. Like it was super dope. Like seeing all the old school guys, you know, going to Street Lingo and like
shout out Street
you know,
Lingo,
commercial
man.
was like popping back in the day.
What was Street Lingo?
It's a hip hop shop, bro.
Yeah. So
Dude, it was like the 1990s like dream hip hop shop. Like you would go in there and the first thing they'll have is like graffiti on the walls and like 2 lowrider bikes and some mannequins. And you're like, wow, like this is fucking dope. You know?
Street Lingo, you know?
And then you would go in there, and then they'll have like the hip hop shirt, the cholo shirts. You get a belt with your name on it. You could buy spray paint caps, markers. You could take your marker.
Where was this located?
Right here.
All right, you get the
commercial.
right here.
You could take your pilot marker and like pay $2-3, and the guy will fill it with ink. And hand it right back to you. Then you're back on the street like, fuck yeah, you know. It was fun. It was really fun. And at Street Lingo, they had magazines. They had art magazines, graffiti magazines. While You Are Sleeping, Volume 1, 2, 3, and it was like people would paint their pieces and like take a picture of them and then mail it to this address. And then they would make a graffiti magazine, and it was like all the shit.
Did you ever know of Street Lingo?
Well, I heard about it.
Yeah.
And it was all the art that was graffiti that was going on in like LA, Seattle, like New York, Chicago. It was dope, bro.
It was a hub for you to tap into
it was super dope, man. Shout out to like Street Lingo, man. Like Tara used to work there.
Tara?
Yeah. A lot of the guys, a lot of the older, you know, TF guys, you know, they used to work there, man. And it was dope. It was super dope.
A young kid growing up in South Chicago, you really didn't have many outlets. For me, Street Lingo was an outlet because it was only not only clothes, it was culture, it was art.
Remember they would have the back to school like fest, and then like
so Jedi, you know the Street Lingo, so you're very familiar with. Damn.
Yeah.
And how far was it from right here from the studio?
It's a block away, right? 92nd,
Street
2 blocks.
Lingo was right next to, right behind Rainbows, that little corner, next to the alley.
Oh shit, man! Damn.
Yeah, dude, the sign is still up there. I've been trying to steal that sign forever.
Allegedly.
You're covering the wrong mic.
We need that, you know, because that's part of our history. You know?
Hell yeah, sick.
That's part of our history. Who's gonna buy it?
We're borrowing it, right?
Some guy is gonna fucking buy the building, knock it down, and like destroy something that like is precious to us.
To me, yes, that's very precious because for me that was a guiding light in a dark area.
Yeah.
You know, because that was a place of music, culture, art, and where people supported you.
Yeah.
The owners are beautiful, beautiful people. Always welcome.
Mexican. They were Mexican.
Beautiful. And they supported the culture. They supported everybody coming in, you know, regardless of who you were, how you looked, they loved everybody.
Hey, cheers to the Mexicanos, bro. We're out here as Mexicanos, man.